So you're earning a decent salary, maybe even a fantastic one. You are saving money, your investments are growing, but there's this nagging voice, isn't there? This constant underlying anxiety that you're just one step away from financial disaster. This, my friends, is what we call money dysmorphia. It is like looking in a financial mirror and seeing a distorted, much poorer version of yourself, no matter how much you actually earn or save. It's a persistent, uneasy feeling that you are perpetually on the brink of financial ruin, even when your bank statements and investment portfolio paint a completely different, much rosier picture. This isn't about being genuinely poor. It is about a deep psychological mismatch between your actual financial health and your perceived financial precariousness. You might be hitting all your financial goals, getting those promotions and saving diligently, but that internal alarm bell simply refuses to switch off, keeping you on edge. Let me give you some real-life examples. Picture Priya, a brilliant software engineer in Bangalore, earning a salary that many would dream of. Yet she finds herself losing sleep over whether to buy a slightly nicer brand of coffee, agonizing over a few extra rupees. Or think about Arjun, a marketing manager in Mumbai, who has diligently built up a hefty emergency fund, enough to cover 6 months of expenses. Despite this, he constantly frets about hypothetical, unexpected medical bills, imagining worst-case scenarios almost every single day. These individuals aren't irresponsible with money. Quite the opposite, they are often hyper-responsible. However, their pervasive anxiety robs them of any financial peace or enjoyment. They might avoid social outings that involve spending, even if they can comfortably afford them, or delay important life decisions like buying a home or starting a family, all because of this unfounded financial fear. This constant state of worry is incredibly exhausting, isn't it? This stark disconnect between your financial reality and your emotional experience is the core of money dysmorphia. This isn't just about being a bit frugal or careful with your spending. It's about a deep-seated, persistent anxiety that doesn't budge even as your wealth and income grow substantially. You could have a 6-figure salary, a well-diversified investment portfolio, and absolutely zero consumer debt. Yet you might feel more stressed and insecure about money than someone earning half as much, but possessing a healthier, more balanced money mindset. It's almost as if your brain hasn't received the memo confirming your financial success and stability. This significant gap can lead to a cascade of negative consequences. Missed investment opportunities because of fear, an inability to truly enjoy life's pleasures, and even strain on your relationships, because money, instead of being a tool for a better life, becomes a constant source of tension, worry, and unspoken fears. Now listen carefully to this. Feeling this way is far more common than you probably imagine. So many hardworking Indians, especially those who are the first in their families to achieve a significant level of financial success or climb the corporate ladder, grapple with this silent burden. You are absolutely not alone in this internal battle, and it is most certainly not a character flaw or an indicator that you are somehow bad with money. In fact, quite paradoxically, money dysmorphia often affects high achievers who are objectively very good at earning, saving, and managing their finances. The fantastic news? Recognizing that you might be experiencing this is the first and most crucial step towards addressing it and finally starting to live your rich life, free from these unnecessary anxieties. We are going to tackle this head-on, together, and I'll show you how. Often, our fundamental relationship with money, including all its quirks and anxieties, is deeply shaped by the environment we grew up in, specifically what we observed and heard about finances during our formative years. If your parents constantly worried about paying bills on time, if hushed, stressed conversations about expenses were a regular feature in your home, or if there were frequent arguments about money, that ambient anxiety can become deeply ingrained within you, almost like a default setting. Perhaps you were told paisa ped penahin ugta, money doesn't grow on trees. One too many times, making every single expenditure, no matter how small or necessary, feel like a monumental, guilt-ridden decision. Furthermore, society itself bombards us relentlessly with subtle and not-so-subtle messages about never having enough, constantly pushing us to chase more income, more possessions, more status, without ever encouraging us to pause and define what enough even looks like for us personally. These powerful societal and familial scripts often run deep in our subconscious, silently dictating our financial behaviors and feelings. In today's hyper-connected digital world, it's incredibly easy, almost unavoidable, to fall into the insidious trap of comparing your financial life to the carefully curated, often misleading highlight reels of others, showcased on platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or even LinkedIn. You scroll through your feed and see your friends, colleagues, or even distant acquaintances on apparently lavish international holidays, buying new cars, or showcasing expensive gadgets. Almost instantly, a little insidious voice whispers in your ear that you're somehow falling behind, that you're not doing as well, even if your own financial situation is perfectly sound and secure by any objective measure. This relentless social comparison, often based on incomplete or false information, can fuel intense feelings of inadequacy, envy, and a desperate belief that you need to earn even more or accumulate even more material possessions to be truly secure, happy, or worthy. It's a game you simply cannot win, because the goalposts are perpetually shifting, always just out of reach. Moreover, the lingering effects of past financial struggles or traumas can cast a very long shadow on your current financial well-being, irrespective of how much your circumstances have improved. Maybe you, or your family, went through a period of genuine financial hardship earlier in your life, perhaps a sudden job loss, the failure of a family business, or the heavy responsibility of supporting loved ones through incredibly tough times. These kinds of experiences, even if they occurred years ago, can leave deep financial scars, creating a persistent scarcity mindset that continues to influence your thoughts and behaviors long after your income and assets have grown significantly. Your brain, in essence, gets wired to anticipate disaster, to always be on high alert for the next potential financial threat, scanning the horizon for trouble. It's a survival mechanism that was once incredibly useful, perhaps even essential, but now it primarily serves to hold you back from truly enjoying your hard-earned success and achieving genuine peace of mind regarding your finances. Finally, vague, undefined fears and a significant lack of clear personal financial goals can greatly exacerbate these feelings of money anxiety. When you don't have clearly defined financial objectives, goals that go beyond just vaguely wanting to save more money or be rich, your anxieties can run absolutely wild, filling the void with all sorts of imagined catastrophes. What are you actually saving for? What does financial security or financial independence look like for you in concrete, measurable terms? Without such specific targets, it's incredibly easy for nebulous fears about the future, about retirement, about unexpected emergencies to take over your thoughts, morphing into a general, pervasive sense of impending financial doom. This profound lack of clarity means you never quite feel like you've reached a point of safety or success, primarily because you haven't even defined where that point is on your own map. It's akin to setting off on a long drive without a map or a destination in mind. You'll just keep driving anxiously. The very first, and often the most challenging, step towards overcoming money dysmorphia is to simply acknowledge and validate your feelings about money, even if they seem completely irrational to others, or at times, even to yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. There's no shame in it. You need to say it out loud, perhaps to yourself in the mirror, or write it down. I earn a good income. I have savings, but I still feel anxious and stressed about money, and that's okay for now. This crucial act of acknowledgement isn't about wallowing in negativity or self-pity. Rather, it's about courageously facing the reality of your internal emotional experience. Grant yourself the permission to feel whatever it is you are feeling: anxiety, fear, guilt, insecurity, without layering on additional judgment or criticism. This simple yet profound act of self-validation can be incredibly powerful, marking the true beginning of your healing process and your journey towards financial peace. Next up, step 2 involves getting brutally honest with your numbers, because feelings, especially anxious ones, are notoriously unreliable narrators when it comes to money. So it's time to stop guessing, stop assuming, and start knowing your financial reality with precision. You need to sit down, perhaps with a cup of chai, and get crystal clear on every aspect of your financial life. Track your income meticulously, every single rupee that comes in. List all your expenses, from the big ones like rent or EMIs to the small daily spends, and then categorize them so you know where your money is actually going. Calculate your net worth, assets minus liabilities. Know exactly how much you're saving and investing each month, and where those investments are. Use a simple spreadsheet, a dedicated budgeting app, or even just a notebook. Whatever tool works best for you. The primary goal here is to replace those vague, scary anxieties with cold, hard, undeniable data. More often than not, you'll discover that the reality of your financial situation is far better and more robust than your persistent fears would have you believe. Once you become more aware of your anxious money thoughts and the situations that trigger them, it's time for step 3. Challenge and reframe these negative patterns. Start questioning these thoughts like a sharp detective interrogating a shifty witness. When that familiar inner voice whispers, "You're going to end up broke," or "You'll never have enough," pause and ask for concrete evidence. Is that statement really true given my current savings rate, my income, and my financial plan? What is the absolute worst-case scenario that could realistically happen, and what specific steps would I take to handle it? Actively work on replacing these negative, often automatic and unhelpful thoughts with more realistic, balanced, and positive affirmations. For instance, instead of thinking "I can't afford that," especially when you objectively can try reframing it to "I am choosing to allocate my money towards other priorities right now," or "I am systematically building my wealth, and this purchase doesn't align with my current goals." This conscious reframing takes practice, but it's a game changer. Finally, and this is absolutely crucial for long-term peace, step 4 is to define what enough truly means to you, to design your personal rich life. You need to decide for yourself what financial success, security, and freedom look like in tangible terms, completely independent of the expectations of your nosy relatives, your competitive colleagues, or those flashy influencers on social media. How much money do you genuinely need to live comfortably, pursue your hobbies and passions, take good care of your family, contribute to causes you believe in, and feel fundamentally secure about your future? Set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, or SMART, goals. Is it accumulating a certain amount in your emergency fund? Reaching a specific investment target for retirement? Being able to comfortably afford a particular enriching experience each year without guilt? Write these personal definitions and goals down. This personalized definition of enough becomes your financial North Star, guiding your decisions, calming your anxieties, and helping you recognize and celebrate when you've actually achieved what you set out to do. To truly break free from money dysmorphia, you need to build healthy money habits and robust systems that work for you, almost on autopilot. Remember, consistency in small actions trumps sporadic bursts of intense effort every single time. Automate your finances as much as humanly possible. Set up automatic transfers from your salary account to your savings and investment accounts, scheduled for the very day your salary hits your bank. This pay-yourself-first approach is incredibly powerful. It reduces the mental effort required to save, minimizes the daily decision-making fatigue around money, and curtails the temptation to spend those funds elsewhere impulsively. Also, schedule a regular money date, perhaps once a month, with yourself or with your partner. This isn't meant to be an occasion for obsessive number crunching or anxiety, but a calm, dedicated time to review your financial progress, make any necessary adjustments to your budget or plans, and importantly, celebrate your financial wins, no matter how small. These simple, consistent systems create a psychological safety net that allows your mind to relax a little, knowing your financial future is being taken care of systematically. There are numerous fantastic tools available today that can help you manage your money more effectively, from sophisticated budgeting apps like Mint, YNAB, You Need a Budget, or Indian alternatives like Walnut or Money, to user-friendly investment platforms and even simple Excel or Google Sheets templates. The key is to use these tools wisely, to help you gain clarity, organization, and control over your finances, not to fuel further obsession or anxiety by constantly checking balances or micromanaging every single rupee. A particularly powerful strategy I recommend is setting up a dedicated guilt-free spending account or fund. This is a specific amount of money you allocate each month or week purely for you to spend on whatever brings you joy, no questions asked, no justifications needed, and absolutely no guilt attached. This could be for your hobbies, dining out at a nice restaurant, buying that book you've been eyeing, or small indulgences. This practice of intentional, joyful spending helps you learn to enjoy your money and gradually breaks the debilitating cycle of deprivation and anxiety. It's vital to set realistic financial goals and wholeheartedly embrace the concept of progress over perfection. Forget about trying to achieve some mythical, flawless state of financial nirvana overnight. That's a surefire recipe for more stress and disappointment, not less. Instead, focus on setting small, manageable, and incremental goals that you can realistically achieve. Perhaps your very first goal is simply to track your spending accurately for one full month to understand your cash flow. Then your next goal might be to build a 1-month emergency fund, or to increase your mutual fund SIP by a small amount. Celebrate each milestone you reach, no matter how seemingly insignificant it might feel. Acknowledge your efforts and achievements. It's the journey of continuous improvement and learning that matters most. For example, instead of vaguely wishing to be rich someday, aim to save an extra 5,000 rupees next month specifically for that weekend trip you've been dreaming about, or to finally enroll in that online course. Tangible progress is what fuels motivation and builds confidence. Finally, and this is a really big one for many people struggling with money dysmorphia, you must learn to truly enjoy your money and consciously work on banishing that unnecessary guilt associated with spending it. Your money is, at its core, a tool, a powerful tool designed to help you build the life you want, a life filled with meaning, experiences, and security. It is not just a pile of numbers to be hoarded anxiously in a bank account while you live a life of self-imposed deprivation. Once your essential savings and investments are automated, your critical financial obligations are met, and your emergency fund is in place, give yourself explicit permission to spend on things that genuinely add value, happiness, and enrichment to your life. This could be investing in experiences like travel or learning a new skill, spending quality time with loved ones, supporting causes you care about, or simply enjoying a nice meal out without agonizing over the bill. Remember, living a rich life isn't just about accumulating money. It's about strategically using your money to live fully, joyfully, and generously. You've earned it. Now go out and live it.